Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. I have the pleasure of once again introducing the People's Terran. In the red, it is Cure. Up against a mainstay of Protoss, the high-tech powerhouse. It is Classic. In this best of 3 battle in the Korean StarCraft 2 League. The league put together by the community, for the community, not just limited to Korean players, but instead to people who are willing to play a tournament at prime time for Korea. Essentially, you can sign up if you'd like, but it's probably going to be like 11 p.m. So, and as we all know, gamers don't stay up that late. Now that's a lie. If you're watching this sometime before or after 11 p.m., I recommend you like and subscribe before we get things kicked off. Because with Cure, and to an extent with Classic, I don't think of Classic as such a scrappy player as Cure has proven to be, for better or worse many times. But I am interested. I think about the same level. Cure probably a little bit of a favorite here, and also depending on how many probes he's able to kill with his delayed Reaper. He went Marine and then Reaper. So Classic moved out, and the Reaper came in moments later, and Classic was left with no units to defend. So between the bunker at the front, as well as the Reaper in the back, and now at the natural, Classic already taken some big hits. Cure taking out these probes, and, well, I say high-tech Protoss because Classic is well known for his tendency to speed through the tech tree, whichever direction. And here we are, 1 gate Dark Templar. About as quick as you can get there. The Twilight Council was spotted by Cure, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. What I mean by that is the Twilight Council could easily be Blink, occasionally Charge, and of course the Dark Shrine is something that comes up now and again. Though relatively... oh no. There's nothing here. He's still on 1 gate, by the way. He has to recall. Gonna bring back 2 Stalkers. Cure gets out. Kind of having his way with the mineral line so far. There is a proxy robotics facility. I have to assume that is for a warp prism. The thing is, Classic with 2 gateways, even if he does end up going for Dark Templar, he can only have so many of them. The Dark Shrine is already done. I guess you could warp in here. He will. There is no engineering bay. A Raven begins, which is a staple component of almost every Terran build nowadays. It got a bit of a cost reduction in the beginning of the year patch, so makes it a little easier to slip into those builds. Also, it builds a little faster. And now, for his trademark play, Cure brings the Widow Mines in. It's a grand total of 1 kill for 2 mines, so could be better. Scan. Looks like 1 DT went down. Classic slips through the scan to kill the engineering bay. So far, only 2 SCVs killed. It looks like he spotted the first one, and now the second one goes down. Both players really trying some early shenanigans here, but neither player finding too much success. This DT should get a couple more kills. He pulls the boys to hold it down, though a dangerous game he's playing. Swipes his way by a few more. And the Marine... oh, what a save! He picks up and gets out. I love it. Oh, thumbs his nose at Cure. And then picks up the DT and gets out. So overall, while this could have gone much worse for either player, the Widowmine drop was cleaned up. I don't believe he got any more probe kills. The DTs have been deflected and destroyed. So we have to go back to our corners and build up whatever the follow-up's going to be. For Cure, it is looking like a relatively middle of the road. 3 racks and factory starport. Classic took a 3rd Nexus behind this and is slapping down 6 more gateways alongside Charge and some Archons. So overall, whoa, what a fight here. Overall, Classic gonna lean into the gateway units here, whereas Cure is putting together his bio army. The economy, now important to note, Cure does not yet have a third command center. He may never, depending on how this game goes. Whereas Classic is comfortably going to be mining from his third. It isn't a massive disparity yet, and it won't be for a while, but it definitely adds up. And right now, Cure he's setting up to move out. He does have a lot of energy on that Raven, something that's going to be very relevant. Okay, Classic. He wants to recall. He's trying to get away. I'm not... Okay. He wants to no. Well, no. He gets out with one, so I guess that's okay. But if he had just had one High Templar in that... Classic... that could have gone better. That was clearly optimistic at best, giving him the benefit of the doubt. And a lot of doubt there. But Kier does react in time. Drop at the back. A bit of a singular pylon powering all these gateways. Could easily depower so much of the production.
Who does that?
And with it, any sort of reinforcement, even gonna kill the Dark Templar. The charge lot stuck on the Marines here. In the center line, the tanks are setting up for the attack. Adding more pylons, but he can't even warp in units to kill these Marines. It's a disaster right now for Classic. It started with that Archon recall, but now he just doesn't have the units. And there's still energy and a Raven here. Oh my god, the Dark Templar in the main is going to slowly clean things up, but Raven has anti-armor missile, uses it, softens everything up, including reducing the shield strength of those Archons. They look amazing though. Come on, like, look at those amazing. That's the real highlight here, besides Kier clearly in an advantageous position. Wow, anti-armored Archons look incredible. Very angry, but also, unfortunately, very dead. As Kier just stomping through. More than enough momentum. The Dark Templar are such a dramatic investment. It is very hard to justify that investment without doing a whole lot of economic. I question it because everyone builds a Raven now. Everybody loves Ravens. They're the Oracle of Terran. They cost the same, they build in about the same time, and they are the most common unit outside of, like, Marines to see in Terran versus Protoss. So, Classic going for the Dark Shrine was a bit a mind game too far, I think. And Kier calls him on it. A solid game one for the People's Terran. Lets him off to a 1-0 lead. Heading into Ancient Cistern. It's been a while since I saw someone try the DTs. Maybe combine it with the proxy gold base, like we've seen several times lately from Hero, from SOS. I'm hoping SOS decides to participate in some more of these tournaments. No one quite pulls it off like he does. There's just a he's got a storyboard. He's got a game plan when it comes to these maddening cheeses. That a lot of other Protoss, it feels like they've got one or two steps, but they don't have the full picture of how they want to manipulate their opponent's brain into winning the game. Not them, of course, the Protoss, but Classic giving it a shot there, but he's gonna need a little more. Out goes the first probe. Nothing untoward. All the buildings in the base for now, both sides. Probe gonna see it. Only one gas, so it's like a 1-Rax expand for Kier. As well as a 1-Gate expand for Classic. The annoying body block of the probe preventing the command center from building in that one location it wants to. Of course, if it's frustrating enough, you can just slap it down right next to it. But most players prefer to just get it in the right spot the first time. Cyber Core done. Now we get a little more insight into where Classic wants to take us. He didn't get the second gas particularly quick. but he isn't researching Warp Gate. In fact, he canceled Warp Gate for a moment. I assume he'll get it eventually, but which usually indicates a Stargate play. Getting that extra 50 gas and sinking it into a Stargate. First Adept comes out. Gonna chase down the Reaper. Almost switch places there for a moment. There's the Stargate in the base, important to note. Meanwhile, Cure, Reactor, Factory, the Fixins. The Reactor not on the Factory, in case you're only listening. Still gonna be 4 Marines here. Adept shades all the way across, and Cure in an awkward spot for a few moments until the Hellion and some more Marines show up to the party. The Adept going to scout it directly, right up in its face. Out comes the Hellion. Did he see the... He did see the Factory, but it could be a Widowmine, could be a Hellion. It'll now be given away slightly. Not slightly, it'll be given away entirely. That's a Hellion. It's right, you can see it by the way... Oh. Fancy shade away, fires the shot right before. Kills 1 SCV. Reaper will slip into the main. He hasn't yet seen any tech, but he should be able to get close. Unless he gets this, well, another situation of, yeah, I think he's going Phoenix. Put him down. Thank you. Well, this is a bit awkward. He got him. Not exactly, not the buddy cop movie you'd expect there. Phoenixes and Adepts have a pretty unsynergized set of skills, but it works out. With Phoenixes already on the way, I think Cure has mostly vetoed any thoughts of a Widowmine drop. Immediately going into a Tech Lab starport. Are we going to see Cyclones? As well as a Raven on top of that first Viking. Just wants to zone out the Phoenixes and work from there. I mean, last game, I don't think Cure did anything particularly special. He just locked down his base, built up a solid army. He got kind of lucky that Artosis pylon was there in the main. But overall, nothing out of the ordinary when it came to Terran strategies. In fact, very middle of the road. So if that worked just fine, if it ain't broke, why fix it? So Cure once again going to set himself up with 3 Rex. Going to get Stim, Combat, Shield, Engineering Bay about to finish to throw on +1. And overall, Cure lining up a very similar push to the previous game. Now, on the other side, Classic has gone the other direction. He's got the Stargate into Colossus. He has sped up the tech tree yet again. He's sitting on 2 gateways. But this Mech-Toss composition, essentially going for the strong mechanical units out of the Stargate, out of the Robo, as opposed to a mass gateway army, is usually a bit better suited to deal with early pushes, but with one massive caveat. The Raven, the Swiss Army knife of Terran, that interference matrix could scramble 1, maybe 2 Colossi. And if well-timed, could make it very easy for Cure to just run the table with his bio-army. Of course, the Phoenix is going to do their absolute best to deal with that. And if Cure waits too long, then there should be enough to reinforce the Colossi. But the clear build-up is here. We're going to have to see how much damage Cure is able to do, because no 3rd command center. No... Is he even sending it? No, that's a Viking out there. Got some Spylons out on the map as well. Let Cure or Classic know if any medevacs are coming. Definitely, he wants that Phoenix, so that Raven so badly. The Raven is, if he gets the Raven, Classic holds. There's no doubt in my mind. But with that Raven in play and full energy, this gets dicey. Extended Thermal Lance is about to complete. 2 Colossi at the front. It comes down to the interference matrices. 3rd Colossi about to complete, but One Colossus on the field is not going to make or break this push. Kjær doesn't want to risk it. There's a Viking on the ground in the main. Are we gonna see the legendary Viking lift? Aha! Stop right there, criminal scum. Fool, you put me in my natural habitat. Not like this. I think Vikings are a B-list anime protagonist. That would make sense. They'd be played by one of those knockoff Matt Damons. Wait, actually, I'm just describing the entire Viking series. Never mind. Oh, Widowmine. Gets it and takes a big hit. Meanwhile, wow, Classic has put together a solid army for defending against this bio push. There is charge on the way, +1 ain't there yet. Another attempt, well, a few not-so-charged lots. Gonna be shaved off. But Kjær does not have a third command center. Classic has 4 bases, though he's not mining for the 4th. He doesn't have that many probes. Third command center just now finishing for Kjær. But he finds himself in a bit of an awkward spot economically. Some more damage done. Raven turns it around. Anti-armor missile hits some of it. The force field's locking in a handful of units here, so not a great engagement. Oh no, but the Widowmine again. It doesn't actually kill anything. He does find... Wait. Oh, he was just on a move command. It wasn't cloaked. He just... His units weren't allowed to attack. Kjær's Widowmine slowing down any sort of counter. And Ghost being added into the composition. Kjær might not be the most micro-intensive Terran, but he knows what he needs to win a battle. And he's putting it all together now. He didn't take a risk on trying to dive on the 3rd too early. No. But instead, here we are with a pretty comparable supply. Very good army supply. Sitting at 1-1 upgrades. One big thing to point out is a lack of the armory, which means no ship weapons upgrades, and no cloak on the mines after firing, and of course, no +2/+2. So that means Classic will eventually be able to catch up and possibly outdo Kjær when it comes to the upgrades. Of course, Ghosts and Raven, yeah, well, oh, I love it. Hallucinated Phoenix to draw out the mine hit, follow it up. Classic. Now building up quite a strong army as he comes to the center of the map. He's got 3 Colossi, a couple of Mortals, 19 charge lots in the mix. Ghost dies immediately. Kjær throws an EMP out just to discourage a bunch of those charge lots. 2 more Robos on the way. Another Widowmine. Oh, decent hit. Takes a bite. Armory about to complete. Hallucinated Colossi being added on. And I think this is indeed intentional. Something to distract, even if he knows some of them are hallucinated. If the scan isn't up, well, he does have a Raven as well, but it could easily distract some of this. Anti-armor missile lands across the board. I think he just flung them both out. No, interference matrix on one of the Colossi. Wait, is it real? I think so. Not that it really matters, but the defense is a little bit too well put together for Classic to punch through. And will fall back. But wait, a Widowmine. There's always one. Couple more dotting the field, trying to both spot and help deflect any sort of counterattacks. Another run by into the 3rd will put Kjær in a bit of an awkward spot. EMP is land. Disruptor shot doesn't find anything. Anti-armor missile looking good. EMP across the board. The Vikings knock the Colossi to the deck. And the rest of the army coming in. How many more Disruptor shots? Point blank. Oh, shield battery overcharge. Kept it intact here. More EMPs, but battery overcharge is doing a lot to get things done. 22 SCVs have died on the other side of the map. So even though Classic's entire army may crumble, is there going to be enough left over? As Kjær paying no attention to the Zealots ransacking his mineral lines right now. And now, if only he had Dark Templar. Well, I don't know how much that would help, but 35 SCVs dying. Cure plummets to 30. In Classic, he's going to lose his 4th. 2-2 is on the way. A Disruptor shot clips a Ghost. Gets one of the... Oh no! Classic! Pump fakes the Ruptor. Definite select all army key. More EMPs. Disruptor's wandering forward. More EMPs. But the amount of charge lots, and Widow Mine's working both ways here. Medevac's nearly out of energy, and not that many units left over. Doesn't matter how much shields they have. As long as they have 1 HP, they're doing full damage. Some landed Vikings here. As Cure, still, with enough army supply to potentially punch through. The Medevacs, he's chasing observers. There's observers everywhere right now. Cure is down to 33 SCVs, which gives Classic quite an income lead. He's got 10 gateways, and very importantly, kind of, I think, knowing his own weaknesses, he built 3 Robos. So he's building 3 Disruptors, or he was building 3 Ruptors at a time. +2/+2 is done, but armor upgrades don't save you from the Ruptor shots. Classic holding on to that last shot. He hasn't really been doing a great job of staggering the shots. Fires another one. Not going to leave too much window for Cure to counterattack. Cure's army is still very dangerous, but Classic finally gets a big warp in and will take the supply lead. Snipes hit him on the way out. The charge lots setting up for a potential flank. I think Classic enjoying a bit of select all army usage here. That counterattack. Wow. Cure being led by the nose right now. By the zealots across the map. The Disruptor count. Only 3, but once again, 3 at a time. Catches some of the Vikings. Looking for more Disruptor. Oh no, Cure eats a hit. The charge lots on the other side. Clearly drawing some of the attention. And even though there are some mines, the Ghost will clean up the last few zealots. But Cure ate that Disruptor hit. And now he doesn't seem confident enough to actually take a fight. He doesn't want to fight into that many Ruptors, but he's not building Liberators. He's not really doing anything differently. So Classic is just... Oh, he doesn't know about... He doesn't know about the southern base. Oh, this... Like, Cure right now thinks he's on 3 base versus 3 base, which for a Terran is fine. Like, even if he lost a lot of SCVs, 3 base versus 3 base, he should be able to build a comparable army. He's good to go. He never scouted. Classic got so greedy. I think that's part of why he took so much damage, is he just built so much in the way of Nexa. And this army might come as a surprise, the sheer size of it. As Cure does not have enough to compete. Blink Stalker Ruptor is the choice. Fires a shot. Fades right through. Looking for more. Gets a good connection on the left. The front to the face. Another one chases the Marauders. Another shot. The Mules in the fight. Doing their best. Moral support. Marauders dodging back. The Disruptors are connecting. But 14 SCVs go down. Well, Cure. Will he scan? Will he look? He's got to be wondering how Classic put that much on the field. And even then, though, even with that many Ruptors, not quite enough to break through. A well-entrenched Terran with those... He has a 2-upgrade advantage with the armor. That's just so many Ruptors. 10 Disruptors. Dodge this. Well, he does. But another volley. Gets a landed Viking. The natural predator of landed Vikings. No Liberators. Widow Mines aren't going to be much of a match. Cure's just waiting for Classic to make the mistake, but this is working off imperfect information. Classic, with that base this entire time, has been happy to kind of fight a back-and-forth battle. But knowledge is power, and right now Cure is lacking. More Disruptors trying to fade away with the shots. +1 ground armor is now done for Classic, but +3 infantry weapons for Cure. Another Disruptor gets a ghost and a mine. Airballing the rest. Kier's still holding on. Income isn't nearly that advantageous for Classic here. He doesn't have that many more probes. Disruptors chase. Widowmine connects. Deals with it. Another Ruptor shot. Like, you can't just keep dodging. Only hits one landed Viking. The Disruptors, not the easiest unit to maneuver. Another Widowmine hit. Kier trying to set up the surround. He keeps just eating the hits and trying to outbuild, hoping that Classic will make a mistake. This is an obscene. He has 13 Disruptors. This is ridiculous. He's lost only 6 of them. So, but like, the triple robo. Oh my. Just, he's scouting with Ruptor shots, and why not? He's gonna be able to fire up. He can fire one off of essentially every second without running out of cooldowns, but there's a Widowmine, spots the army. So does the Zealot. Kier still doesn't know about the southern bases, though they're kind of implied at this stage. More Disruptor shots, looking for the Marauders. Kier dodges away. Classic. At some point, you can't dodge anymore. Classic has to be careful his own units don't get caught in the crossfire. Another shot. Marauders directly to the face. Dodges through one. Reinforcements coming in. Kier trying to close the distance. The Disruptor's the most dangerous force field. He follows through, and that's just too much. Just too much. Kier, with a misguided yet laudable goal of fighting through 13 more, he could fire 2-3 Disruptors and never run out. But with dreams of beyond in his mind, he thought maybe he'll just hit the rapid fire button and fire it all in one shot. But like many scenarios in life, you don't want to fire your entire shot at once. So, Classic holds it together and takes game 2 off of Kier's a bit cowardly approach to the later game. So, it wasn't easy, but Classic carves out a win. And we go to game 3. Kier definitely not striking while the iron was particularly lukewarm there. I think missing a lot of opportunities. But that is, like, really, the key to Kier. And like and subscribe if this describes you. Is when he sees Disruptor, sometimes he's like, oh no, well, I don't want to deal with that. Like, he knows. So many times have games been lost because you think you can fight the Disruptors. I can target like Beyond. I can take out 8 Disruptors in one shift click. And then you misclick one, you hit a Zealot or something instead. Half a dozen ghosts and Marauders die. And then they run you over. And it did seem like Kier had some flashbacks there. But I do think a lot of it comes down to the lack of information about that southern base. That makes all the difference. He thought he was on even economy. He simply wasn't. So Classic was able to keep up. And now what is this? It's a 2-gate. Which is usually done against Protoss. Or if you're going to do it against Terran, yeah, you put one of the gateways somewhere out on the map. But it's just, he just built it in his base. So Kier's not scouting, so he's not going to see this coming. I am interested to see where we go from here, because he's just expanding. Is it Stalkers? It is a map with a ramp, so a bunker could potentially shut a lot of it down, but... Huh. Adept. And he's not building Warp Gate. He's saving that gas. Huh. Yeah, the second gas in the main is quite late. Kira, on the other hand, is going for 3 racks, which I think is going to almost accidentally leave him in a pretty nice position, as he went reactor first, so he's pumping out 2 Marines at a time. It does take about 4 Marines. Technically 3, but 4 Marines to deal with an Adept. 2 definitely complicates things. SCV shows up. More Marines about to complete, trying to... Oh my god, the SCV! The SCV killed the Adept! Chased it down, and all the little advantages that Classic could have gained here evaporate with that Adept, I feel. As this is a big commitment. This is a lot of investment for Classic in units that are not known to age well. Gateway units in general. So, as time goes on and as Cure builds up this bio count, and in fact, one of the barracks is in vision range from the ramp. I feel like he intentionally let the Adepts in just to try to get rid of them. And Classic almost took the bait. I don't even think, by the end of it, the Marines were so far away. I don't even think it was really bait, but kind of a crazy game already, even though very little damage has been done. Concussive Shells is on the way. Here comes some Stalkers, as we're gonna brawl it out with these early gate units. Is he... Oh, that would have been a mistake. Yep, there are 3 gate... He got in with the Adepts. He saw the 3 racks opener. And that means... Yes, Robo Bay is on the way. You need either splash damage or an overwhelming amount of units. The Adept stagger shade in. Trying to kill some SCVs. Does take 3 hits, just barely. 4 SCVs down. Cure, not going to be too unhappy about it. He cleaned up the Adepts and can now focus on an attack across the map. Robotics Bay is on the way, but it's still so far off. Immortal being chrono boosted. That may be the difference between victory and defeat, or at least holding the line. He locks in some units. Targeting the battery is Cure. That was a mistake, as his units get slaughtered. And force fielded. Never mind on that bio push. With the Immortal here, and with those early kills, because Cure just clicked on the shield battery. Classic should be more than fine. In fact, if Cure attacks again, it could set up a counter. Classic inspired to take a 3rd, understanding that with a Colossus, it's going to be very difficult for the Bio Army to really get anything done. Colossus pops out. Extended Thermal Lance is on the way, but against non-medevac bio units, just the one Colossus to add so much damage to the Marines is going to be a huge deal here. Does he hit the stims? Targets down the pylon. There's that Colossus stepping down. He thought about going for it. Well, the force fields are certainly coming to a middle. Well, trying to target the Colossus, and once again, Cure dives and comes up short. Cure taking the bait. In fact, the force field zoning just enough stims the Marauder away. That was a bit of a disaster, as Cure has lost now 29 Marines to just a handful of gateway units. Well, can't blame him for trying, but clearly did not pan out for him. Medevac's now on the way. Still a bit of a bare bones army here for Classic. He's got the Colossi, he's got the Sentries, he's got an Immortal, and he doesn't got much else. So if he takes the wrong fight, this army could crumble. Colossi are easily distracted creatures, as we all know. So you do need something in front of them in order to make sure you have the time to get the damage done. Force field. Locks in some Marauders. Zones out as well. And the command center taking a lot of damage here. If he could actually kill it, that'd be a huge deal. Getting high ground vision. Cure! The repair! That's a hallucin... Oh my god.
What a save!
The hallucinated Phoenix, really wishing it was a real Phoenix there. Kira almost loses the command center outright. Which definitely would have tilted the game in the Classic's favor. But without that kill, I still think Classic in a pretty good position, but not nearly as dominant. Because with the third command center, once Kira is able to land that, pretty equal in economy. He's building up quite a strong unit composition, especially with Vikings added on. No upgrades for Classic, who just now finished a Forge and a Twilight Council. And if Kira ever sends out a drop, he's going to find quite the bounty here in the main. Classic falling prey to one of the classic Protoss pet peeves, which I didn't intentionally make that pun, but I'll run with it. Which is putting all your tech in the corner of the main, because it feels like it's out of the way there, and you don't have to jam up your main with a bunch of random buildings. But how many times have we seen two medevacs come in and chop the entire tech tree off at the stump? The answer is too many times, as Cure picks up and heads towards the main. The Spylons are good, not great. Spotting much of the area, and very likely going to find the area where Cure is going. The army's moving out, though. Oh my god. Oh, come on. Did he see? He saw that first pylon with the Marine. The other one just... Oh my, it's a disaster. There's not energy in the main. The entire tech tree is vulnerable. Classic recalls. He has to recall to the natural. But by the time he comes back into the main, the damage may be already done, or Cure will go for the probes instead, because he came in at an angle and he didn't actually see the tech. So this, what could have been a devastating moment, instead, well, those medevacs, he still has to deal with this. Like, the medevacs are still there. Classic had to come all the way back here. And we heard it from Cure's camp, Ghost reporting. So even though he's not going to get this massive snipe off, at least not yet. Well, scanning the main, seeing the army move back. Just the existence of these medevacs is enough to keep Classic back at home. And now Cure has had the time to build up the right army. He's got siege tanks. He's got ghosts. He's got Vikings. Up against Classic, who is low on upgrades. He has the gateway production, but just Colossi and a hand. His army lacks mostly disruptors, but it's a relatively brittle army, especially when you're relying mostly on Colossus for splash damage. If you don't have the upgrades, charge lots aren't nearly as good. And if you don't have a bunch of Archons, you don't really have any alternative form. So without disruptors or upgrades, well, Cure has the army to beat right now. So the tech did not get sniped, but instead, siege tanks in position. Armory just now finishing, so there is a point where Classic can catch up in the tech. Hallucinates 4 Colossi here, which is a bit much. In my opinion, I get what he's trying. He's trying to literally, even if you know it's a hallucination, it will potentially draw fire. So, especially if there's no scan. So, Cure definitely needs to scan before the fight starts. The Warp Prism in the wrong side of things. Vikings will knock it down immediately in Classic. Those siege tanks, more than good enough. Gravitic Drive is on the way. Warp Prism speed, 2 more Robos. The hallucinated Colossi running home with the more corporeal ones. The Viking count is so damn high, though. What a nice position for Cure to angle into. On the high ground here, the Colossi getting knocked down, the Vikings uncontested. And while all this is happening, though, Classic slipped some charge lots into the third. Cure moved back. He got his SCVs out of there, but he doesn't really have any alternative mining locations. He doesn't have a fort. Classic still has another base on the opposite side. Both sides are supply blocked. The Chew Toy depots doing their job and distracting the charge lots in the center of the map. Neither player can really produce units until they get on supply blocked right now. Kier slowing things down, working towards a push into the main, leveraging those medevacs. A Warp Prism is in position to warp in towards Kier's main as well, so bit of tit for tat here. All three Robos are at the natural, one of them being shelled immediately. 2-2 is on the way. Kier still about 30 or so seconds off. +2, +1 already done for Classic. The Cyber Core about to be taken down at the Reaper Wall. Liberator joining the siege. Both players are maxed out. Classic has been very patient thus far. He's going to want to rebuild that Cybernetics Core, but at first, he's going to use the Zealots to drop out and draw some of the siege tank fire. Not enough for now, but a huge surround is being set up. Will Classic be able to break out, or can Kier hold the line? Reinforcements are not coming across the map. So Classic waits for his moment, but 2-2 just finished. I don't know if that's going to matter. The Vikings knocked down the Colossi. Charge lots dropped into the fray. And the Disruptors, well, he goes to the main here. Gonna deal with some of the infrastructure, but overall, Kier gonna get swiped off the field. Most of Classic's army, all of Classic's army, is back to defend. And Kier is gonna lose a lot of army supply, but the Forge, somehow the tech has survived. Another army moved out. Kier trying to rebuild. It's a little better than it was in the previous match. How many Warp Prisms? 2 Warp Prisms have gone down. Is there still one out there? No. It appears the Warp Prism came back across. Well, actually, I think it died during the fight. Either way, no Warp Prisms. That's the key part. Army, no medevacs here. Picks up again. Is this finally the moment that the Forge gets sniped? Potentially, right before +3 attack finishes. Kier getting chased all the way back to his third. The medevac's heading in. The scan finds nothing but some charge lots. But this angle is looking really good. Oh, the Forge. The Forge! Oh, no. He chrono boosts. He's not... Kier is killing me right now by not going for this Forge. Oh, he's just creating... And finally... Oh, he was thinking about dropping... Oh, let's not get crazy. I can't believe the restraint or the potentially looking the other way. Of Kier there, not going for the Forge immediately. Hallucinated Phoenix, but Classic does maintain a huge army. It's just, without the upgrades, well, he's maxed out. Oh no, but back in come the medevacs, and Classic turns the whole ship around. He does have, well, he had a Warp Prism in the main. It got shot down by the Vikings. Down goes the... Finally! I love it when a commentary comes together. Kier is doing the most slipshod job of gutting the tech tree that's exposed in the main I have ever seen. But he is doing it. It's taken a lot more effort than I think it ever should have. But he has managed to snipe the Robo Bay, he got the Forge, he made the Templar Archive supremely uncomfortable, and Classic has had to keep coming back towards his base so many times. But still, Classic has 140 army supply, and he's about to bring it to bear on Kier's base. +3 infantry weapons about to finish for Kier. He's already sent out some more army supply. A single tank will ward away Classic's army. He doesn't know how much is behind it. Warp Prism and Medevac pass each other. I think Classic noticed. I don't know if Kier did. Yeah, he's sending Vikings back. +1 air weapons on the way. Huge amount of charge lots headed towards the third. A Liberator won't be enough to deal with that. Vikings knock down the Warp Prism, but Classic gonna go for the Chew Toys in the center. EMPs, Disruptor shot return fire. Charge lots into the third, though, slicing up some more SCVs. Meanwhile, drop at the back, whole bunch of Stalkers. He must have rebuilt that Cyber Core somewhere. In the main, of course. 17 LCVs down, handful of probes. Neither player looking great on the workers. Classic. Supply lead is kind of evaporated. He lost 85 charge lots throughout this exchange. Oh, a hectic battle. Well, he's gonna try to take down the rocks here. I'm not sure who this favors more, actually. Here comes Cure, though. I don't know if there's a recall, and it's too late at this point. He fires out the Disruptor shots. Here comes... Oh, wow. He recalls. Oh, my God, it's a disaster. Yes, a whole bunch of gateway units over here, but in utter defeat and a total rout. That's Classic kind of jammed himself into Cure's surround, and the recall came way too late to evacuate most of the core units. And with that, Cure takes a massive army supply lead. Oh my god. Cure has let command centers burn before. He has one SCV repairing it. Literally the least he could do. I don't even... Now it's not even repair... This thing could burn. Cure! We'll check in. Well, Disruptor shot. Classic never rebuilt the forges. Oh my god, the DTs. He will repair, only because Classic reminded him with the Dark Templar. Dark Templar dealt with easily. Meanwhile, Vikings in position. Disruptor shot. Wards away. More bio. Oh no! Oh no! The Select All Army! It's... Oh... He literally shot half a dozen zealots the most consistent way. Oh god, you gotta be so careful with those things. Nice dodge there from Cure, who targets down 1, 2 more. He saw it. He saw that hit. Another zealot dies. The army will collapse, but who's flanking who? Here comes Cure from the south, even while he gets surrounded in the north. Completely evaporates the army. Comes up, wins the day, and with it, Cure takes the 2-1. I think Cure the clear victor here, even in the game Classic managed to take. It was on the margins. It was barely. It was a shoestring victory, whereas Cure took command of the game. Yes, a bit timid at certain moments, a bit haphazard with the drops, but the game plan and the execution were there, and Cure takes home a 2-1 victory in the Korean StarCraft 2 League. Make sure to check it out, and more info on how to support in the description. And thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. I hope you enjoy. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.